of the interwebs, and welcome back to yet another stream. We are here with Novel Mondays once again on Seduce the Otome. Um, it's just me again, guys, doing some bit of a solo reading, and we are starting Damien's route. I know I said last week that we were going to be starting Diana's. I kind of forgot about this boy, completely my fault. So Diana will be next week. So yeah, let's go on ahead here and let's um, start Damien's route. Alright. However, I began to feel the smooth silk around me and my eyelids unwillingly opened. Where? I awoke to find myself in an unfamiliar place. Where was Mom? Dad? I was pretty sure this wasn't my room. Oh, wait. I lived at my grandfather's house now. Of course it would be unfamiliar. I rubbed my eyes and surveyed my surroundings. I was still in the clothes that I arrived at the house in, but I was lying in a silk-covered bed. I remembered coming in the afternoon, so why was it nighttime already? Suppressing a yawn, I stretched my arms. Maybe I should order some food for delivery. I was feeling pretty hungry. I was about to sit up, but I suddenly realized that I wasn't alone.
You're awake.
Hi, Damien. Huh? Since when was he standing there? And who the heck was he? A guy in my bedroom? Did we? There's no way.
Hmm.
Sorry, I think I was saying my thoughts out loud. Why was I apologizing? To a stranger who only said 2 words since I woke up? Wait, he looked eerily familiar. Then it all came back to me. Incubus. He was an incubus. He and his brothers came here for refuge, and 2 of them kissed me, and then I fainted, and that was how things came to this. Oh! He was leaning against the far wall, looking at me. My heart began to race as I thought of the endless list of possibilities this situation brought me. I hated the thought of being under an incubus's power, especially in a bedroom. He hasn't really done anything, so we're gonna be calm. I took a deep breath. I was sure that if any of them wanted to take advantage of me, they would have already. Yeah, I'm awake now.
That's good.
Hmm. I saw a small form of smile on his face, which made me blush a bit. Why, though? One thing still concerned me, though.
I'm not going to use my powers on you.
Huh? How?
I can read minds. It's an ability I was born with. Each of us has a different ability, outside of our usual mind-altering powers.
Ah. Great. Even more surprises. I grew even more worried about the situation I was in. I see. How long have I been asleep?
For a few hours. It's already gotten quite dark outside.
Ah, well, where are the others?
My brothers are downstairs, cleaning up the blood from the lobby floor. And making you dinner as an apology.
Oh, okay. That's unexpectedly sweet.
Well, it's the least we can do after invading your home, and 2 of us using our powers on you.
You've got a point. Right. I had forgotten about that. It still irked me that they had practically taken advantage of me at that point. Even if they were demons, it was pretty rude to demonstrate their powers by kissing me. I wasn't some kind of human plaything. All of this seemed pretty unreal. It was like something out of those romance novels that Naomi sometimes read. I wish I could have just went back to sleep and forgotten all about this. Maybe I should have just called the police on them. Then I would have never landed myself in this situation.
Do you feel well enough to get out of bed?
Yeah, I think so. Whoa!
Trust me,
Oh my god,
I
he picked
won't
us
let
up.
you go.
This is low-key kind of adorable, but I don't know. I get awkward vibes from Damien, but that's probably just me. I'm not so sure about this.
I promise.
Okay, I trust you.
Good.
I was speechless. He was carrying me as if I weighed nothing. He was so strong.
Thank you.
Eh? Oh yeah, I forgot.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
No. I decided to close my mouth for the time being so that I wouldn't weird him out or make things even more awkward than they already were. Well, he didn't seem to mind carrying me or listening to me talk, so at least things weren't too strange. Damien seemed very quiet and calm about everything, especially with the situation we were in. However, there was a sort of longing in his eyes when he looked at me that wasn't lustful. It was more in admiration. Once we reached the lobby, I decided that I felt well enough to walk on my own. As strong as he was, it was like he was carrying nothing. I didn't want to make him carry me everywhere. Yeah, that would be mortifying. Thanks for carrying me, but I think I can walk by myself now. Not saying that I didn't like it. I mean, I liked it. Not in a weird way, of course. It's not like I get carried around all of the time. What I'm trying to say is that it was really nice of you to do that. I started to fumble over my words again, real smooth. I've been there.
It's no problem. I'll be heading to the dining room then.
Alright, see you. He gently lowered me to the ground before he walked off quietly, disappearing into the shadows of the dark lobby.
Oh, hi!
Hi, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to kindly skip him. Um, I will
But it
keep
looks so
Simon.
creepy.
I will keep Simon. Okay, we're gonna kind of skip through all of this. No, James. Um, I already hit Sam, so I guess I'll hit Eric
Ugh.
too. Sorry about that, Eric. We love you. Yeah. Okay. So then we're gonna choose. So then I looked back at Damien, who had been silent the whole time. He was leaning against the far wall, moving his lips almost silently to the empty space beside him. Out of curiosity, I looked the same way, though I found nothing there.
It's nothing.
Oh, huh? I looked back to see Damien looking at me with his normal blank face. I couldn't help but stare back, feeling the red tint of embarrassment spreading across my face. As I stared, Damien gave a very small smile and closed his eyes, returning to his thoughts. Okay then. Alright, yeah. Dinner party, yeah. They're my brothers. Yeah. Yep. We'll stay and help around the
Please.
house. And we're gonna help Damien with the lobby. I stayed in the lobby with Damien, who nodded to me and passed me a dust cloth.
We have to dust off the railings and other surfaces before we mop the floor. Is that okay?
Makes sense. I nodded and rolled up my sleeves, climbing the steps of the staircase. Easy as cake. Both Damien and I began to climb to the top of the stairs, wiping the dust off the railing as we went. However, a silly idea came into my mind. I looked over to Damien, wondering if he could read what I was thinking. As I expected, Damien looked over in slight surprise before giving me a slightly concerned look.
What if you get hurt?
Oh, come on, it'll be fun. I did it all the time as a kid. Damien stared at the rail and thought. To My mind began to wonder too how much fun my idea was, hoping my thoughts would convince him. Damien sighed softly before smirking slightly and nodding. Woo! I quickened my pace on the rail, dusting as quickly as I could as I got to the top. Damien followed quickly behind on the opposite side until we were both at the top of the stairs. We both then jumped up and sat on top of the rails, sliding down each side like a roller coaster. I'm pretty sure everyone who had a staircase like this as a kid probably did this. I never had the luxury to do this, and I probably never would, because knowing me, I would hurt myself, and yeah, so there's that. There's a lot of thought on the execution, but not much to stopping. Oh no.
Watch out!
Whoa! Our brakes had become a slamming into each other and landing on the floor. Him on top of me. Of course. I stared up at him in surprise as he looked down at me in concern. Neither of us knew what to say. Let's just laugh it off! I started to laugh. I didn't know why, but I couldn't control myself. I closed my eyes and laughed in pure enjoyment of what had just happened. Damien began to laugh as well, smiling widely. Oh, he is really cute, though. Both of us ended up laughing on the floor. Damien rolled off of me and held his stomach as I held mine. We were both completely engulfed in joy.
You were right. That was fun.
Oh, you're such a cinnamon roll. See, I told you. Both of us crawled into ourselves, facing each other in laughter before we looked at each other with smiles. However, Damon's face softened as his laughter slowly died. He smiled with happiness in his eyes and a blush across his cheeks. I stared in surprise, my face turning red in return, but my mind going blank. I couldn't stop staring at Damien's smile. Something about him was just completely charming. His eyes had a mixture of happiness and a small bit of yearning. Soon, though, Damien stood up and reached a hand down to me, breaking my silent thoughts.
Come on. We need to keep cleaning.
I slowly nodded before standing and continuing to clean alongside him. And house party! Yay! As ready as I'll ever be.
So, how do you feel living on your own at such a young age?
Okay. Doing my
I'm
best.
So sorry about your grandfather passing away.
Thank you for your
Do you have
condolences.
college plans?
Yes, I do.
What will happen with the company?
It'll get
What
back
do you
on track
think
soon.
about the philanthropic policy the company has?
Do you think the
There.
company should expand from just toys?
It's a possibility. Okay, yeah. Alright, we're gonna be a good hostess, and we're gonna be nice to Andrew,
You're welcome.
but we're gonna not follow him, though. Okay, so...
Don't
yep, there we go.
It didn't take long to find you little shits out.
We're gonna play through this for Virgil so he can rewatch the VOD, even though he's not here, but we're gonna continue to play through this anyway.
Don't worry.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
There he is, all you Malik simps, here he is.
Oh, what's the matter, boys? You really didn't think I wouldn't find you, did you?
I hope.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What?
This-
What?
The previous owner.
Yeah.
Then what's stopping me from dragging your asses out and shooting you then?
We're only playing Malik's lines. The other boys, fuck off.
Whoa! Who let the bitch out of her cage? What is this? A reverse harem or something?
Duck.
Back down. Shut up!
Oh.
Don't start acting tough, you pathetic excuse of a demon. You need more protection than her.
Shut up!
Poor Matthew.
Oh, did I make little Matthew cry? Why don't you just grow a pair?
Enough.
Since when did you get the guts to speak out of place?
We both know.
Fuck off! I know what I'm doing.
Do you?
Shut up!
Let's go, Melix! We're wasting our time!
Yeah.
Just wait, pretty boys. We'll get you and fuck you up real good. don't think you're safe. Step outside. I dare you.
Alright, now we can skip. We're gonna explore the house. We're gonna try. Don't disturb them. We'll just do pizza. Find one in the incubi. Okay. Alright. I looked down each hall, trying to find one of the incubi wandering so that I wouldn't have to go through each individual room finding them. I pursed my lips in irritation. Where the heck are they? I sighed, knowing I would have to search for them in each room. I quickly turned and headed up the stairs. I began to walk down a hall and opened a random door, peeking inside. Lucky enough, I found Damien in the study. Damien was in Grandfather's study, which I had explored not long ago. Despite only being here for a short while, Damien looked like he knew this room like the back of his hand. Damien was gazing at the pictures and books on the shelf, almost looking lost and dazed. It was almost adorable, but I could sense a small hint of sadness in his eyes. Damien?
Huh? Oh, hello.
Damien turned to me and gave a gentle smile, as if he was doing nothing as I came in. I entered the room and closed the door behind me.
I was just looking at the books. They're very interesting topics.
Huh? I looked over at the shelf and skimmed over the spines of each book. They were all books about business and psychology, all ranging in thickness. Some crossed over and brought the two topics together, while others were strictly one or the other. Did grandfather really, excuse me, did my grandfather read and study all of these? They seemed used, but they were covered by a small layer of dust.
Do humans really study this much?
Occasionally, it depends on what we're studying, or why we're studying.
What do you mean?
Well, if we are interested in a topic like business, we learn what we can because we want to know more.
Are there things you can't study?
Nope. There are books and stuff about anything and everything.
Even the demon world?
Maybe, but usually those books are considered fiction or religious theory. It was almost cute to talk about learning with Damien. I guess learning was different in the demon world, but telling him about learning was almost like telling a child the meaning of life. I felt myself become a little wiser as we continued talking.
Humans can learn anything? At any time?
We have libraries and bookstores full of books we can read.
Humans have the freedom to learn anything.
I looked at Damien in confusion. He seemed to look jealous. What about demons? Can't they learn what they want? Damien shook his head before looking down at his feet.
Demons don't have schools to learn from like humans do. Everything we learn comes from experience or verbal mentoring. Books are only permitted to be read by higher nobles.
I stared wide-eyed. There were no schools in the Abyssal Plains? That seemed so unreal, yet in a way I wasn't that surprised.
The only ones who have ever touched a book are James and Eric, since they're the oldest. Sam and Matthew chose not to read.
What about you? Damien stood silent for a bit before sitting on the ground, leaning against the large desk in the room. I decided to follow along and sat beside him.
You brought food?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I brought food. Here.
Thank you.
Damien took his dish of food and began to politely eat. I followed suit. It was painfully obvious that he was dodging my question. Did I want to know? I was very curious. Ask again. I was curious, so I had to ask. However, Damien looked to me, stopping me from opening my mouth.
Because I'm technically not a noble at all.
I tilted my head and raised an eyebrow in confusion. Not a noble? But aren't you all brothers? If the others are nobles, that would make you one. Damien looked to his dish with a sigh. I suddenly felt regret for asking and pushing the topic. Before I could apologize, Damien spoke.
We are all half-brothers. We only share the same father. Our mothers are all different. James, Eric, Sam, and Matthew all had noble mothers who are now queens. My mother was not a noble, and is not a queen.
I am gonna say Damien's story is not only the longest, but it's like he at least has one of the I know in this game, in this first game, his route is longer than the others, and it's very sad. Just a forewarning. I could see sadness in Damien's eyes. I bit my lip. I shouldn't have pushed the issue. I'm sorry. Damien shook his head, snapping out of his thoughts, and smiled at me.
For what? You didn't know, and were curious. It was only appropriate to answer.
Still, it was rude of me to pry like that. I'm sorry. I didn't know what to say. Damien only smiled lightly at me before continuing to eat. As he ate, my mind began to wander to the abyssal plains. What was it like? What did it look like? Was their castle big? How many servants did they have? My thoughts were halted by Damien chuckling, most likely at my thoughts. I turned red in embarrassment. Sorry.
You keep saying sorry when you don't need to. It's kind of cute.
Oh, stop. He's cute, okay? I pursed my lips, but couldn't stop a blush from running across my face. This was going nowhere. I went back to eating in futility, earning another chuckle from Damien. However, as a groan of pain escaped Damien's lips, I stopped and looked at him in surprise. Damien? Are you okay?
Yeah. It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Huh? I heard him gulp down and hide another groan, making me even more concerned than before. Damien.
It's just a headache. I get it when I run out of energy.
Oh.
I'll be fine.
Right. He was out of energy? I guess he didn't take enough when we first met, so it was just enough to heal his wounds.
None of us took more than we needed to heal.
From the sound of his voice, he was fighting back major pain. I felt incredibly bad. Damien smiled very lightly at me.
I'll be fine.
Take my energy, you cinnamon roll. If he needed energy, I was willing to give it. Damien instantly turned away from me before I could finish my sentence.
No. I'll be fine. I'm used to this.
That's not okay. You shouldn't be used to anything. No. You should. Used to pain? There's no way that was okay. I glared at Damien's back before grabbing his shoulder and forcing him around. Damien stared at me wide-eyed in surprise. Damien, let me help you, please. I don't want to see you in pain like this. I continued to stare at him, wondering if he'd make the first move. I wanted to help him truly. I knew that my energy would help him not feel pain. Damien must have heard my thoughts as his gaze changed from nervous to piercing. Oh. All of a sudden, I felt that familiar feeling of warmth run through my body once again. I felt my body slightly heat up as Damien wrapped an arm around my body and pulled my body tightly to his. Damien grew a lustful gaze before speaking, bringing a hand up to cup the back of my neck.
Thank you.
Aww. Okay. Before I knew it, Damien pulled me into a gentle but passionate kiss. Heat erupted through my body as his kiss slowly and almost timidly got deeper. Damien kept an arm around my waist while I rested my hands on his chest. The energy from my body was slowly draining in the kiss, making me feel light and warm. It was almost pitiful how comfortable and willing I was in this situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every bit of this kiss. Damien was a wild card. I didn't really know what to expect from him, and his kiss was no exception. Damien wasn't forceful, but his kiss was deep and passionate, and it felt almost magical. It was how I imagined the first kiss to be like, except with energy drain. Soon, though, the energy drain stopped and Damien gently pulled his face away to end the kiss. I stared up at him as we both panted for air. I had never kissed like that before, and I was so lost in the moment that I had forgotten how to breathe. Damien moved a strand of hair from my face to behind my ear, eyes still full of desire.
I'm okay now. But
I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I truly did want to give any more. Yes, keep going. He deserves love, okay? I opened the opportunity, and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more, and I was going to let him keep going. I wanted to keep going. I leaned up and kissed him again. Damien gasped against my lips, but continued to kiss back. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and following his hand off from around my neck. He moved the ribbon to his pocket before gently unbuttoning the top two buttons of my blouse. The desire in my body drove me insane, forcing a moan to escape my lips as he ran his kisses from my lips down to my exposed neck. As he began to ravish my neck and shoulder in hot kisses, I leaned my head back and let a pleasurable sigh escape my lips. Damien was ruthless in his passionate kisses on my skin. Damien didn't stop touching and kissing me, making more moans and gasps rush out of my mouth into the open air. He may have been full, but he was as hot as I was. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it sinful, but I didn't care. I loved it. His touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down my chest to just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about Damien intrigued me immensely, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy, seeing the ceiling start to spin almost wildly. I gripped onto Damien's shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another sound. I felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be that good. I now just waited to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. Okay.
thank you. I indulged myself, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Damien.
I love how he signed his name. None of the other boys did that, by the way, so that is just freaking adorable. I stared at the note, letting a small smile grace my lips. He indulged himself as much as I did. I enjoyed it. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both did and enjoyed. Excuse me. I brought the note to my chest, letting the memories of our meeting flood my mind. I indulged myself too, Damien. Alright, we can skip now. Doo-doo. Yes. Before I reached the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Huh? I turned to see Damien, who was holding my hand back with a concerned frown on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name is Damien.
My
I
true.
want you to know my real name if something were to happen.
Oh my gosh. Every time I hear that line, I have to think of the blooper. Probably after we finish Diana's route, next week we will be listening listening to the bloopers and stuff like that because they're hilarious. But anyway. Oh, his true name? What did he mean? Why was he telling me this now? I remember reading about a demon's name from the journal I read yesterday. If you knew I almost said Damien. If you knew a demon's true name, you could summon them to you, no matter where you were or where they were. Damien gently pulled me to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Ezreal.
Israel. As he said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget it. Damien pulled away and stared at me, despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you are in any danger, call my name. I promise, I'll come and help you.
Got it, bae. Ugh. Alright, skip. Yep. Oh, this is another little thing for Virgil that I'm gonna go on ahead and do. Give me one little moment here. I need to turn up the background music. Turn it up. Thank you. And I'm also going to pause Spotify. This is again just for Virgil. Around Lisette was a dark purple aura that seemed all too familiar. It was like demon magic, but it seemed to be tamer. I slowly rose to my feet, collecting my belongings as I continued to stare at Lisette. Something was off. As I continued to look at her, the aura grew, forming a shadow behind Lisette, with red eye-like shapes glowing from within its darkness.
Anderson, you alright?
I couldn't respond. I was entranced by a small hum in the air. It was distant, almost like an ethereal whisper you'd hear in horror games, but it was real. It sounded vaguely of a woman humming a tune I didn't recognize.
Hey, are you okay?
Let's go. We'll be late for class. We're gonna just let this play for a little bit longer. Okay. I suddenly felt the need to walk away, so I did. Naomi and Susie scrambled to catch up and follow at my new quickened pace.
Sheesh, Anderson. You look like you saw a ghost.
Alright, so now we're gonna turn down the background music a little bit and then unpause Spotify. Alright. And now we can skip. Oh, boop, 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 boop.
Hey! Don't dirty up Malix's prey.
The voice, which sent a fearful shiver down my spine, whispered into my ear.
You're coming with me, Miss Anderson.
We actually don't need to read all this. Alright. Here we go.
Nicely done! I'm sure those little shits will come running to find you when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search everywhere for you.
Malix walked over and set the barrel of his gun against the skin between my eyes.
It'll be so funny when they find your dead body instead.
Israel! All of a sudden, a bright purple light engulfed the room, causing the devils around me to cover themselves. Gusts of wind rushed past me, almost forcing me back. I covered my face with my arms, bracing myself and standing my ground. I tried to peek through my arms to see what was going on, but the light continued to shine brightly. As the gusts slowly started to die, the light began to fade, revealing Damien with a blank expression, staring coldly at Malix. Damien.
I'm here, as I promised.
Malix moved his arms from in front of his face and slowly took in the new sight in front of him. Quickly, Malix's face turned to that of pure evil delight.
Out of the 5 pretty boys, you summoned the pathetic one? What a fucking moron!
Hey! Damien stared at Malix, silent and fiercely cold. Damien began to walk towards Malix, on one step at a time. Malix, however, brought up his gun and pointing it at Damien.
So long, pretty boy!
Malix pulled the trigger and let a bullet fly straight at Damien's head. I gasped, bracing myself for the result of the shot. However, Damien kept walking. Damien didn't fly back, nor did he flint. Wrong button. Sorry. Damien didn't fly back, nor did he flinch from the shot. I couldn't see the bullet wound, but I knew there had to be one on Damien's face.
What the? Fucking die!
Malix began to quickly pepper shots into Damien's face, some of them passing completely through his head. There was no blood, no fire, nothing. It was as if Damien didn't really exist as he walked towards the now frightened devil.
What crap spell is this?
As Damien finally reached Malix, the devil jabbed Damien's head towards the ground, making Damien's body fall and slam into the concrete. As the body settled onto the ground and slowly began to burn away in purple flames, Malix gritted his teeth.
Distraction. Where are you, Damien?
Malix scanned the room like a hungry dog hunting for its final meal. Malix's body began to glow a fiery red color in anger from the situation. The remaining devils stared, trying to figure out what to do. Help Malix or watch in silence. Eris, however, walked up beside me and crossed her arms as she watched with an amused smirk on her face.
Come out!
The air instantly went from frantic to still in energy. What could have been described in tone as the color red quickly turned into a deadly mix of purple and black as everything began to blend together all at once. Damien's voice finally replied, however. His voice seemed different.
What's wrong, Malix? Are you afraid of me now?
I will admit, Damien's demon voice sounds really badass and creepy compared to the others, so bonus points for that. I was suddenly afraid. Something about Damien didn't fit with how I knew him. He sounded otherworldly. His voice was dripping with an almost sadistic tone as he spoke through the air.
Afraid of a pretty boy like you. You don't even have the balls to face me head on. You're the one who's afraid.
Looking to Malix, however, I could tell that he was off. Something about what Damien was doing was keeping Malix in his place.
Oh, I'm not afraid of you. In fact, I know very well you're afraid to move right now. You are practically screaming it in your mind.
Oh god, that's creepy. Malix, in a fit of insane rage, began to shoot it into the air, letting the bullets fly into the ceiling.
Shut the hell up!
Damien's demonic laughter filled the room as a group of dark figures appeared around Malix, walking toward him slowly and menacingly. In defense, Malix fired shots at each entity around him, causing them to fall and fade away into purple flames. However, that didn't stop more from appearing around him and closing in on him. Malix became frantic. Was this the extent of demon power? I suddenly felt a pair of hands cover my eyes tightly, pulling me against someone's chest. I gasped, but was stopped from prying their hands off my face.
It's me. Don't look.
Oh, it's Sam this time. I listened carefully and let the last two words linger in my mind. Don't look. Why? What was being hidden from me? I wanted to know, but something told me to obey Sam's command. I could still hear Malix's screams of agony and the sound of ripping flesh. The smell of blood was covered by the harsh odor of ash and fire. Maybe it was better that I wasn't able to see.
Damien, enough!
Almost instantly after James's command, the sound stopped. The only thing anyone could hear then was the sound of dripping blood.
At least let me dispose what's left of him.
What's left of him? What?
I'll take care of it. You've done enough, Damien. Come out.
After a brief silence, a pair of footsteps made their way to my spot. Each step seemed to echo with a haunting, otherworldly tone, as if a very low and dark piano played a singular note with each step the pair of feet took.
I will admit, you really wailed on him. You practically scared everyone out of the warehouse. It's a good thing you were hiding when you lost your glamour spell, huh?
Glamour spell? What did he mean? Why did Damien sound so different? Why was this being hidden from me?
It's a spell that makes us look human.
I froze. Look human? They didn't look like humans after all? What did they look like?
Like demons.
As if Matthew knew what Damien was talking about, Matthew spoke up, followed by the sound of a cork popping out of a bottle.
Well, not for much longer. Here.
Alright, we can kind of skip this now. Yeah.
Finally.
It will be.
Finally.
Uh-oh. There we go.
We can relax.
It will. I think.
Should we be?
Oh. I looked at Damien, feeling my heart flutter in my chest. I didn't want him to leave, but would he ask to stay? I hoped that he would say no and ask me to stay longer. As he knew what I wanted, Damien moved and stepped to me, staring into my eyes with almost pleading eyes. His eyes made me want to whimper in guilt, but then he spoke.
I know we've only been here for a short while, but you've done so much for us just by giving us a place to stay. However, if I may be honest, I really would like us to stay here longer. Can we?
Of course, you frickin' cinnamon roll. My heart skipped while a large red blush ran across my cheeks. The boy stared at Damien wide-eyed, but didn't dare to speak out. Damien stepped back to give me space, returning to where he was. Yep. Let them stay. I wanted them to stay. I wanted him to stay. Yep. Excuse me. The others quickly left to finally rest, leaving me and Damien alone at last. My heart fluttered a bit as Damien walked closer to me. He was happy and... Sorry about that. He was happy and it was really cute to see him that way. So I didn't do anything but smile back.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Damien. I'm happy to have you stay here. I watched his smile brighten a bit before he cleared his throat and looked up at me with a serious face. I didn't know if it was the tiredness or my growing attachment to him, but I felt myself sway a bit on my feet. However, Damien's face made it clear that he wanted to see something else, making me forget that my bed was also calling for me.
Listen, about what happened at the warehouse.
No, it's fine. You did what you had to do. I understand. I had accepted everything that happened and knew that Damien had to do what he had to do. He was real, and he was someone I didn't want to be without, even if that meant nodding against my curiosity. Besides, I was too tired to explore that memory further. Damien nodded before holding out a hand to me.
Come on, let's get you to bed.
I nodded before Damien gently lifted me up into his arms like a bride and carried me to my room. I didn't want to leave his arms, leaning my head against Damien's chest, but eventually I was slowly lowered to my bed and covered with my bed covers. I was still in my school clothes, but I was too tired to strip or care. I looked at Damien, fighting a yawn from escaping me as he gently ran a hand over my hair.
Good night. I'll make breakfast for you in the morning.
Okay. I nodded with a tired smile before watching him slowly stand and leave my room, closing the door. Yep.
You are an interesting creature.
Hi, Diana. We skipped the little song segue, but oh well. I opened my eyes to see a woman staring down at me with a very sly smirk on her face. I opened my mouth to scream in fright, but a hand quickly covered my mouth.
No screaming now. Too early, silly girl.
I could only stare up at the woman above me. I still felt weak, not having the strength to move and fight her off. What was going on, and why was she here?
Why do the boys like you? You're unique, yes, But that can't be all that you have going for you.
A rage began to consume my core again. This woman, whoever she was making me mad. She must have known as she let another smirk grow onto her face.
Ooh, you're feisty. That could be why.
Before I could bite her hand in anger, she removed her hand from my lips, standing up and staring down at me from her place next to my bed. I quickly sat up and glared daggers at the intruder. She was very beautiful, but I felt more anger than amazement. Who the hell are you, and why are you in my room? The woman began to laugh, making the rage inside me increase. I wanted to punch her, but I waited for her answer. And, again, Mika, which is the more canon name for MC here, even if you did punch her, she would probably just laugh at it. So it wouldn't really do anything.
How silly of me. I forgot that we demons are not well known of in your world. You can call me Diana, little human.
Diana? Demon? You're a demon?
I am, but I'm much more than just an average demon.
What do you mean?
Silly girl. I'm a succubus.
I mean, again, I think that's kind of, I think that's kind of obvious. I stared at Diana in shock. A succubus? First incubi, now a succubus. Great! I had now met both genders of sex demons. Diana crossed her arms under her bosom and looked at my body.
Well, you are pretty, but you seem very reckless. Too reckless.
Oh, fuck you too. I moved out and stood from the bed, still glaring at Diana. Why are you here?
Oh, I just wanted to see who my competition was.
Competition?
For the boys, of course. They don't belong here, and yet here they remain. I want to know why, and remedy this little issue.
This girl was seriously pissing me off. Issue? What issue? They want to stay here, so they can.
Silly, uneducated human. You don't understand the important roles these boys play in the abyssal planes. You keeping them here is practically imprisonment.
You have about 10 seconds to leave.
Is that a threat? How cute. What are you going to do? Kill me?
And if I do?
You barely have the strength to stand, little human. I can rip the rest of your energy out and knock you into a coma. You'll never be able to wake up again.
Touch me and I'll...
Enjoy every minute of it.
Look, don't call me out like that. I felt my body freeze and heat up to almost a painful haze. My mind began to feel fuzzy as Diana stepped to me and caressed my cheek.
Now, you're going to listen to everything I say without any questions. Got it?
I nodded.
Good. I plan to bring the boys back to the abyssal planes. Why? So that I can take my place as queen of their realm. They have no reason to be here in this silly little world, so I'm going to make sure they return home. Okay, Pumpkin?
I nodded but growled. My rage couldn't be concealed, despite the hold I was under. You evil bitch!
Call me evil all you want, dearie. I'm not evil. You're just in my way.
I felt Diana lean into my ear and whisper, making me unconsciously shiver in both pleasure and annoyance.
Now, be a good little human and go to bed. I'll make sure they're gone before you get home tomorrow from school, so make sure to say goodbye in the morning.
I felt my body move on its own to lay in bed and cover itself with my bedsheets. I glared at Diana the entire way down. Diana laughed at my futility. I'll get you.
Oh, please.
Oh, God. All of a sudden, her voice deepened and became cold and demonic, sending a violent, scared shiver down my spine. Her red eyes practically illuminated in the darkness of my room as she glared at me.
Give me a reason to make your life a living hell.
I gritted my teeth, trying to fight back against the hold on me. She couldn't have been that tough. She needed energy to survive, right? I was sure she couldn't have had enough to hold me down forever. Diana then laughed and returned to normal.
Oh, and make sure you don't tell the boys I was here. I want my visit to be a surprise.
I felt the hold on me disappear, allowing me to sit up and practically growl at Diana in rage. What's stopping me?
Then you must not care about your friends and family as much as you care for the boys.
I stopped and stared. What did she mean by that? Was that a threat to my family? Diana Diana smirked at me, knowing the confusion behind my eyes.
Let's just say that if you tell the boys about me, I'll make sure that no one will care for you, and you'll be all alone in this little house until the day you die.
I could feel fear creeping into me. Alone? How could she do that? The word demon reverberated in my mind, reminding me that I was facing off against something supernatural. A human with the shield versus a devil was one thing. A human on her own versus a demon was another.
Have a good night.
Fuck you. And with that, Diana sank into the floor through a magic purple pentagram, which disappeared as her head vanished into the floor. I couldn't believe it. I had one problem, now I had another. Instead of a crazy psycho devil who wanted to kill me and the boys, I had a succubus wanting to ruin my life and take the boys away. Could my life get any worse? No, I wasn't gonna let her win. She's not as powerful as she looks, I know it. I had to mentally confirm it. She wasn't going to win. The boys wanted to stay with me. I let out a sigh before closing my eyes, affirming my plan of action. No matter what she was going to do, I was going to beat her. Alright, we'll do a quick little skip. Diana.
No.
She has. Well, she's.
Oh, really? I feel insulted.
The boys and I looked around the room, wondering where the voice came from. I felt cold sweat run down the back of my neck in fear, remembering what kind of power she had. At last, we saw Diana by the entrance of the kitchen, juggling a single red apple in her hand, as she leaned against the archway. The boys quickly surrounded me, staring at the intruder.
So, you took up a human name as well.
Beautiful name, isn't it? Well, for a human name, anyway.
What the hell do you want?
To bring you back, of course. However, you weren't supposed to know that I was coming. I completely forgot about that little mind-reading ability. My mistake.
Diana pushed off from the archway and walked towards us, making the boys step closer to me in a protective circle. Diana laughed.
My. What has the world come to? A group of demons protecting a human girl? I'll tell you right now, she's not that pretty. And from what I can tell, she's still a virgin.
Don't call me out, you bitch! My face grew red in complete anger and embarrassment. How dare she? Oh, hell no! I stepped up, gently pushing the boys now I can't talk anymore. Okay. Gently pushing the boys away to be face to face with Diana. I was furious, and she was about to feel my wrath. You are in my house. You are an intruder. You have no power here.
Oh, really? Do I have to remind you of the power I have, dear?
With a snap of her fingers, my mind suddenly locked up and I felt blank. I could see the world around me, but I lost control of my body. The boys quickly reformed around me, with James gripping onto Diana's wrists in anger.
You will leave this instant.
Or what? You'll kill me? I completely dare you to.
Let me do it. I could use the workout.
Don't.
The boys looked to Damien while Diana smirked at my blank state. I wanted to fight this hold, but her power held me down.
And why not?
She wants us to kill her. If she dies, then civil war starts in the demon world.
Very good, sweetie.
What happens in the demon world doesn't concern us anymore. We live here now.
The demons will come to the human world and hunt us down before attacking each other.
The demons will come to the human world? All because of her?
You sneaky bitch.
With another snap of Diana's fingers, I was released from her hold, almost buckling to my knees.
Well, will you all change your minds? I assure you, it's for the greater good.
I expected the boys to say no. What I heard was complete silence. None of the boys replied to Diana, which made me both nervous and fearful as to why. Diana leaned her head back a bit, surprised for a different reason.
No. Well, I see.
Was silence truly them saying no to her? I looked around at the boys and saw the disobedience in their eyes, giving me my answer. I felt my heart flutter, especially when my eyes landed on Damien. He kept close to me, glaring daggers into Diana. I could feel that he was completely adamant in his choice to stay. I don't know what, but I was incredibly happy to know he wanted to stay. Diana sighed and pressed a finger into her temple, rubbing it gently.
Either all of you are playing a very convincing hard-to-get game, or you all must be out of your minds.
Diana then looked to me, locking her gaze with mine as if to read me. I could tell she wanted to do something, but the boys would stop her. So the stare was her only available action. After a small moment of silence, Diana licked her lips before breaking the gaze battle and smiling to the boys around me.
Very well. I guess I'll take my leave now.
What? Her leave? Was she serious? The boys around me straightened up and grew confused looks on their faces as Diana stepped back and away from us with a small bow, flaunting her cleavage, of course. Without another word, a deep, purple pentagram appeared under her feet, and Diana's body slowly sank into the floor. As her head vanished into the pentagram also vanished. Alright, we can go ahead and skip all this. We'll read this. Diana, wow. Too many D's! Okay, I'm fine. Damien walked over to me and stood before me, looking at me with concern.
We'll protect you. Don't worry.
Okay. I nodded, feeling that he was telling the truth, or at least a hopeful and comforting thought. Damien gently took my hand in his and brought it up to kiss my knuckles, however making me blush and forget what I was thinking about. The sound of collective chuckles and playful snickers whispered through the air, making me blush even more, but as Damien sighed and cleared his throat, the laughter stopped. I looked up to see he was glaring at his brothers with his lips on my hand. He and I pulled away from each other just as the sound of Naomi's car appeared. I quickly ate my food, waved to the boys, and left, confident that nothing was going to happen. Alright, well, that is where I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's stream, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next week for the continuation of Damien's route, and I will also see you guys hopefully tomorrow and tomorrow's stream as well. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, everyone, Jordy out. Goodbye, guys!